All right, folks. Well, I hope we're okay now. Basically, I messed up the whole thing, but we're here now, and I hope everyone finds their way into the stream. So, anyway, we're only 2 minutes late. That's no big problem. So let's carry on. So, I hope you found your way in here. All right, folks, let's get into the chart straight away, and we'll get to some questions and so on later on. And just going to try and find out which one's actually live. And we'll get some questions. Okay, I think we're all right. All right, folks, welcome to the live stream today. Sorry once again about the mess up. It's Wednesday, and we've got a pretty exciting day. I'm watching some of the early movers today. Just scanning across. Let's just start off with a quick scan. You can see the stock market's moved down a little bit yesterday after we got long, eventually, finally, after breaking out through these highs. We'll get onto the stock markets just now. We're only long on the NASDAQ. We're hedged on the S&P, and I have a hedge position on the NASDAQ, but we did get one small long position on 2 days ago, and that's slightly pulled back since then. We're still hedged on the S&P, nothing on the German 30, and we have a few names that we're still long on, including MSTR and Tesla. Big bump up in MSTR again today, Tesla just ticking up. And then I'm looking to get long on ARK again, and NVIDIA and QBTS. Those are the three names I've got in mind. But quickly going to the left-hand side, looking at currencies, Euro pulling back, Pound pulling back, and Euro Yen, Pound Yen, both pulling back as well. We took our profits on the Euro and the Pound. We're still short, but fully hedged on the, short, slightly hedged on the Euro Yen, and we're short on the Pound Yen. I'll come back to those shortly. We're also long on the Aussie dollar against the US dollar. And we looked at the stock markets just shortly just now. And then going on to cryptos. This is looking great again today, folks. And once again, Bitcoin is doing its thing, bouncing off the 20 and the 50 period moving average confluence. I talked about this yesterday, if you remember. I said, we're holding this bull flag pretty well. We've got a bull flag within a bull flag, but be careful. We may have to just clear out that flat bottom just below where we were trading. And we did that yesterday. We cleaned down to the 20 and the 50 period moving average confluence, which is a perfect support level. And the market respected that beautifully, making a fractionally lower low today. And now with a bullish engulfing candle so far. The fact that we've made a new low, as long as we close more than halfway up yesterday's candle today, we'll still have a piercing pattern, even if it's not a full engulfing candle pattern. So pretty good on Bitcoin. And I'm looking for this to break out through the top of the bull flag channel today and move on much higher. Target's 146, 164. Let's have a look at gold and silver. And I'll come back to all of these, folks. I'm just running through. We got long on silver for the first time in quite a long time, about 6 weeks. We got long yesterday, just under the trend line. We're still under the 20 period moving average. We were above the 20, above the 50 rather, and above the trend line, just below the 20. Big tick up yesterday after that piercing pattern we had the day before, which prompted us to buy gold. A simple technical play and a breakout above that trend line. We're also long on silver and we're long on copper. So we're long on all three metals now for the first time in about 2 months. We've been unidirectional across all these three metals. So we're long on silver, long on gold, long on copper. And then the one that you're probably all asking about constantly, natural gas and oil. The big movers, of course, along with gold and some of the metals and crypto and the stock. Actually, everything's been pretty volatile. Here we are down at the bottom, at the bottom of the NATGAS chart. We have this channel. Let me start with the day chart. I'm going to come back to all of these as well. Remember, I've talked about this dangerous looking potential head and shoulders pattern, which I'm personally not too worried about it. But for those who observe head and shoulders patterns on natural gas, you'll be looking at this thinking we're probably going below $3. And that's the correct conclusion. But we have got to break down below $3. The big neckline, shoulder line, $3, big round number, crucial key dividing line between a bullish market and a bearish market in the sort of long to medium term. So if we do get down to $3, we probably will bounce off there and not complete the head and shoulders pattern. Although I'm leaving that door open. Of course, anything's possible. Going back to the 4-hour chart, and you can see why we've got long at the bottom of the channel, at the bottom of this beige support block, the channel line, the trend line, and there's another trend line coming down from the top. Let me show you where that comes from. And we got sort of into the crook of these two trend lines. Not quite, it's not perfect. Would have been better if we got in there on the left-hand side of where we are currently, but nevertheless, we got down to the bottom of the block, the beige block, down to the trend line, channel line really, and we then observed what happened, basically. So we got down to the area that we're looking to buy at, and my general idea is that as long as we're above $3, we should be trading between $3 and $4, maybe $4.50, maybe even $5. Barring, of course, the fateful event of that head and shoulders pattern working out, in which case we're going down to $2.40 or $2.50. I don't think that's the most likely scenario, but you have to be aware that that's possible. You don't want to be caught long on natural gas when it collapses down to $2.40. How many times has that happened to traders? How many times has that happened to you when you've been long on natural gas and it's dropped below $3, $2.75, $2.50, $2.40, and when we got down below $2, that cleaned out, I'd say, about half of the retail traders that I know trading natural gas. So this stuff happens. Be aware of it. Be careful. Make sure you hedge if we break down these support levels. Right now, we had a reversal candle on the 4-hour chart at that support, and it's a pretty simple analysis here, really. Move down to support, big bearish candle. Next candle, this white one, made a new low, a lower low than the previous bear candle, and then bounced up more than halfway through the body of the previous bear candle. That's created a piercing pattern. It's a 2-candle pattern reversal, 2-candle candlestick pattern reversal, and it's called a piercing pattern. That's a trigger for a long trade. It's a pretty high probability setup, really, most of the time. Piercing patterns, engulfing patterns, probably the two most powerful 2-candle patterns that you can find. And we got that right down at the bottom here, so we went long. We're still below the 20-period moving average, although we did get above it. We're now down below it on the 4-hour chart and probing a little bit lower. We have a very small position on here, and I'm looking to add even more should we get a drop down to this black trend line that's falling down below us. And if we move down there today, given that, or over the next couple of days, given that could take a little time, we might end up down here closer to $3.20, $3.25, something like that. Or if it takes even longer, we might even get all the way back down to $3.12, $13, or even the $3 level. So I don't know. I'd like to be able to hold this trend line right where we are currently. Haven't added the size yet. I'm not convinced totally that this is reversed or that it's going to hold this trend line. If it doesn't, I'll be looking forward to adding some more on at a cheaper price. Someone was asking me about Tesla yesterday, talking about cheaper prices and saying, why are you buying Tesla? Let's just have a look at this at $300 a share. Well, we did. We bought it at $300 a share right there yesterday. And actually, that one I've got to move across over there, just above $300, actually 301. And my simple answer really to most people, and this was not one of my members, said, well, I said, would you rather be buying Tesla at $360, $370, or what about $480? Would you rather be buying there or at $300? And of course, you'd rather be buying it at $300. But most people will only buy Tesla once we break up through, I don't know, 350, 367, these swing highs, maybe a little bit higher, maybe trade the breakout, maybe, I don't know, whatever. Most people will be trading those breakouts. Most algos are trend following systems, so they'll also be looking for trend following confirmation. Algos don't generally buy dips. This is a bit of a stink bid, what's called a stink bid. Stink bid is when you place a bid or an order in order to buy a stock, in this case, that has dropped down to a level that you don't think it will actually reach. In other words, we dropped down to $300. I thought we were at a bargain at $310. When we got down to 300, it's even cheaper, another 3% off. And so I bought some more. So that's called a stink bid. I didn't think it would get that low, but if it did, and when it did, I was willing to buy it at that very, very cheap price. A stink bid. An outlandish bid at a ridiculous price where you can get something much, much cheaper than you thought you could originally. And that's what trading is all about, folks. It's about hustling. And if you are stuck in the, stop loss of 30 pips, target of 60 pips, trade when the MACD crosses the draw in your stop loss, hard stop, and you double that, whatever that level is, your stop loss level, double that and place that as your target, no matter where that is. And that's your approach to trading. That just doesn't work. Trading's about hustling, folks. It's about looking for bargains. It's about getting in and out of the market, trying to hustle and deal. Think of yourself like a Middle Eastern bazaar market dealer rather than someone sitting behind a computer screen at home, bored out of their socks when the market's not moving. Think of yourself as a hustler at a market. That's what we're doing. That is literally what we're doing. We're buying like Tesla at $300. In my opinion, you should be buying it. Why wouldn't you? So yeah, talking about that. Natural gas, cheaper natural gas. That's how I got into the Tesla story. So we long on Tesla, long on natural gas. Both got cheap, so I bought them. So don't be too rigid in your trading. Don't be stuck on the technicals and the MACDs and the RSIs and the stochastic and the what precise 5-period or 13-period or 4-period moving average, exponential, whether it's a DMA, EMA, SMA, VWAP, all of those little details that you get so obsessed about. But really what we're just trying to do is to buy something cheap and sell. I'm trying to do on natural gas. I believe it's getting cheap. I don't think it's totally cheap right now. I'd rather buy closer to $3. And then I think we could get a rally back up to $4. But we're buying a little bit right now at $3.40 because we might be finding support. I'm not committing to this trade fully. I'll commit a little bit more at $3.20, commit a bit more, even more at $3 if we get there, probably just slightly below $3, something like $2.93, sorry, or $2.95, $2.92. We see that all the time. So that's natural gas. And then WTI, I'm still short. We have not broken up again through Moab, the beige level, mother of all breaks. I believe that is a solid resistance level, which is going to be really, really tough to get through. And the top of Moab, which is where I want to add my shorts back on, because we got short at the top here, at the channel top. Talked about this extensively over the last number of days, and I don't want to overdo the explanation on this. I don't want to mansplain this too much to everyone, although you're probably all men. Most of my viewers, 93% are men, only 7% are ladies. Average viewer age in my YouTube following, which is about 11,500 people, is at my age, have a much older demographic. And yeah, so it's kind of interesting, I suppose. How did we get onto that? Yeah, YouTube and viewerships and so on. And I don't even know how we got there from talking about the all breaks, and I don't think we're going to get up through there very easily. And we've got the 20-period moving average curling down sharply on top of us, and there, the purple line is the 200-period moving average and my blob. I think we could get into this blob somewhere. Looks like we're trying. We've slightly entered it already, just probing up into Moab. And I think we could get somewhere into this blob, anywhere into this blob. It could be immediate. It could take time, as you can see. But somewhere, this is a day chart, so this is plenty of time here. So somewhere up in this blob, I'd like to add some more shorts to my WTI shorts. I've only got 25% left after taking profit on the shorts from the top down here at the market structure break, my blob, and the 50-day moving average, and the market structure support block below us. So we got out at the right place, and I'm looking to re-add those shorts back on. So I've only got 25%. We've taken 75% profit, willing to add all or most of that back on again on a rally up to about 67, and maybe even all the way up to 69, close to 70. And that's all of that. So I said I'd start from the beginning. So what I think what I'm going to try and do, and I'm just getting used to doing these live sessions because we're doing a lot more these days, and I want to try and make sure that these are as interactive and useful and helpful to you as possible. So what I'm going to do right now is go through, I'm going to try and give away some memberships, and maybe I gave them all away yesterday. I probably did. Yeah, I did. So I can't do that today. But what I'm going to do is go through the questions, and then I'll try and answer some of your questions in more detail and maybe revisit some of the instruments that we just talked about. So let me greet a few of you lovely YouTube people who have joined my stream. That's very nice to have you. Once again, I apologize if we messed up the whole thing, and I guess about half the people haven't arrived because of that, and I feel terrible about it. But I set 3 instances of the stream running simultaneously because I'm using new software, and it's a little bit tricky. Anyway, good day, Roby. Nice to see you, and thanks for attending the live stream again. Thank you for the video. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Edgar, hola. Good day, Edgar. Haven't forgotten about you. Hola, Edgar, Antonio, Mayoral, Manchera. Welcome to you. And I will never forget to greet you. Don't worry about that. Good day, Michael Savage. We're back and kicking, thank goodness. Emily Trading. Hello there. Seems to be 2 streams again. Yeah. I'm sorry about that, Emily. I hope you made it in here without too much hassle. Rohan Joel. Good morning, sir. NatGas first, please. We're going to come back to some of these instruments. Thank you, Rohan, Joel. Fariba Bahrami. Always nice to see you, Fariba. Hello from the UK. USD ZR, what's the possibility? Can we see 181 again? USD ZR, we'll have a look at that. Oh, 18.1, I think you mean. Good day, Robert and Eric. Nice to see you, Eric. Good morning, Robert. Eric's laughing at something, I'm not sure what. Pablo Capetti, nice to see you here too. Natural gas first, please. Do you still think it can go to $3? I've covered that a little bit already, Pablo, but we will talk about natural gas a little bit further once we've finished all the questions and greetings. Good day, Michael Savage. Nice gold consolidation, came back to the 4-hour breakout as it should. Yes, you're quite right, Michael Savage. Gold got a little bit of a wiggle on there. Let's have a quick look. And came back to retest its breakout zone, which it did. And we're pretty pleased about this. Now, remember, I've been short on gold ever since the top. We got short at the top here. We've been shorting all of these rallies. These are my last couple of positions. And we've taken profit on all of those shorts now. So we've been short variously throughout this period. Occasionally we hedged. That's one of our first profit-taking area at the orange arrow. And we broke down through that trend line. Like I said, we probably would, but not for long, because once we broke down through there, we bounced up again sharply with this piercing pattern reversal candle pattern. We're now above the 50-period moving average, testing the 20, but we've closed above that little downward trend line. We did bounce off the support level at 32.60. I thought we could get down to 31.20, but we did not. We're trying to bounce here. Doesn't mean we're still in a range, by the way, folks. Take the trend lines off altogether, and you'll notice, actually, let me just do that. Get rid of all the lines. You can see we're actually just going sideways. The line. Martin Wolfbauer. Nice to see you, Martin. Jazz S from hot California. Jazz, I observe your Californian beaches almost every day. I watch a lot of surf videos from the Skid Kids, from Newport Beach, from the Wedge in California, which is, I think it's Laguna or Newport. I'm not sure exactly where the Wedge is situated, but I watch a lot of surfing videos from that area, just down the road from you probably. So some awesome surf videos that come out of that area. Some really good surfers too. So hot California down on Laguna or Newport. Hello, James from Arjav. What about gold? Still sell or hedge? Okay, we'll get to those. Thanks for the question. Edgar Antonio Merrill Manchera, my 2 cents on natural gas. Trump has it on his agenda. He wants to push the $2 level. Yeah, maybe. Fundamentals not helping either. Yeah, you're right. Mexican demand for natural gas historically down. And the $2-ish level is believable. Yeah, you might be right. $2.40, $2.30. That's the way that chart looks. But I don't believe it yet. I will believe it if $3 breaks. Good morning, Brian. Traders are banking on July heat dome power demand increase and LNG exports, which are starting to tick higher, combining higher demand with flat supply. Thank you, Brian. Brian from Energy Rogue, Brian and Bill over at Energy Rogue. Thanks for your comments, Brian. Yeah, and there's another thing that you bring up quite frequently, and that's the contribution by renewables, and that also needs to be combined into these considerations. I generally think that electricity demand will drive increased natural gas demand. All right, we know that's true. But I do think that natural gas demand will increase as electricity demand is set to increase. And I believe that to be true too. So I'm leaning more to the bullish side of natural gas. Others are leaning more to the bearish side. And that's what makes the natural gas market. And that's what makes it volatile and makes it interesting to trade. So Brian, you might be right. I'm on your side. I believe that we may be seeing higher prices for natural gas rather than lower. But if we break $3, I'll be selling natural gas for $2.40, $50, $30, something like that. That's for sure. All right, Jazz S. Keep losing sound. Sound is choppy, is it? All right, let me try and fix this. Just going to try and fix the sound here, folks. It's been a bit of a tricky day, really, hasn't it? not only, yeah, I've got the right microphone on. Everything's okay. Just let me know if it's not great again. Yeah, folks, I don't know what's going on. Please just let me know if let me just check my side. 1 second. And that's your approach to trading. That just, yeah, I've got the right microphone on. Everything okay. Just let me know if it's not great again. Okay, folks, I think we're going to have to finish the stream because it's obviously not working very well for whatever reason. I know that these streaming services have been under a lot of pressure recently, and many of the streaming services, oh, maybe it's working now. Just let me know. If you could just type up something every few seconds and let me know if it's working. And so we've got major channels like Pierce Morgan, like all of them, Tucker Carlson, all of that lot use StreamYard. And StreamYard just hasn't been coping, and it's been giving some problems. And I think we've got the same problem here with Streamlabs. So if it's working now, then not too much audio. Okay, folks. All right, I'm going to go through. Let's progress and forge ahead and see how we go. And if this is not going to work, just let me know. I'm going to rely on you folks. I'm watching the chat on the left-hand side here. So if something goes weird, please let me know as soon as possible. All right, so I did say I'd rewind and reverse back to some of the currencies and some of the other instruments we're trading. And I think I've gone through most of the questions now, unless there are some others. Quickly, let me have a look. Quality is lagging. Yeah. Is it chilling there in South Africa? No. The sound is okay. All right. All right, let's carry on. These things are out of my control, folks. So I do apologize. So yeah, I've got nothing much to add to currencies. We talked about this a little bit earlier, briefly. But basically, I'm just short on the pound yen and the euro yen, and hedged on the euro yen, and the pound yen not. These are just moving down a bit, and I do expect that eventually these will move down quite considerably, dramatically even. And I'm looking for a move down on the euro yen, down to about 144, the black line down here. And I think we could get that. And it's obviously just taking a little bit more time. We're a little bit sort of about a month overdue and forced up through the top here. And I think we're just turning down now after having got to the 78.6% fib, almost. We're also short on the pound yen. We're long on the Aussie dollar. We got out of our euro and pound trades. We took good profits on both of those, about 250 pips each on the euro and the pound. And so those have pulled back now, and we're no longer long. And I thought we may have got out of these a little prematurely, but they're actually pulling back quite nicely. And I will try and get back long on the euro and the pound, and I'm going to hold my Aussie dollar longs for now. We've talked about stocks, the fact that they're coming down, and that we're long on the NASDAQ, and we're still hedged on the S&P, nothing on the German 30, and I'm still long on MSTR and Tesla. And I'm looking to get long on ARK-K, NVIDIA, and QBTS. We haven't got back into QBTS yet, since we got long there on that breakout out of the channel, the gap formation. We got long at basically literally at the open of play on that Tuesday, and we got out right at the top there. We then sold at the top there and got out back down at the bottom here. There should be another green arrow there, but it would have been a little confusing. So we got long, we got out, took profit, we got short, got out, took profit, and I'm waiting for this to pull back into where this green arrow indicates that we could reach the 50-period moving average. And then, is the sound okay, everyone? If you could just type in Y, the letter Y, if you can hear me okay. So I'm looking for a pullback down to the 50-period moving average, the channel top, a complete close of this gap. We've closed about half of it so far, and then a bounce off there to follow the green arrow upwards. So that's a planned trade. I'm also planning getting back long on NVIDIA and ARK-K on decent pullbacks and corrections down to probably their 20-period or their 50-period moving averages. And I'm remaining long on MSTR and Tesla. We did talk about gold and silver earlier, and I saw a couple of questions about that. So we're long on gold now and looking for this to move up. My target on gold is over $4,000, And of course, we've got to get up through these resistance levels first. We've got one up above here at about 3,450. And then obviously this high here at 3,500. And then the next target is the next Fibonacci extension. And that's roughly around about $4,000. Actually about 4,200. So I'm long on gold, I'm long on silver, we talked about this earlier, and I'm long on copper. Copper has now closed at its highest level ever, just yesterday, day before. What's today, Wednesday? On Monday, copper closed at its highest level ever, above $5 or just on $5, which means, we could go a lot higher. And copper is very, very much in demand. It's cheap, it's useful, and there's plenty of demand for it. And I think copper could go a lot higher. Excuse me, let me have a slug of this stuff. So I'm going to work on a very simple principle. I'm going to say I think copper could double in price. So I'm going to set a target of $10. Maybe we only get to $7, maybe we only get to $6 or $8 or $5.50, I don't know. But I'm setting a target at 10. It's a double basically the current price. And you'll find that from the bottom to the top, where we are currently, it's the 100% Fibonacci extension. So long and strong on copper, silver, and gold. And I think these are all looking fantastic. And at the same time, I'm long on Ethereum, Bitcoin, and XRP. And I think these are also looking fantastic. And I put this chart up on X yesterday, and I said, if you want to know my plays, my favorite, my best plays, maybe my most exciting plays, or my most potentially profitable plays, they're all on this page. So I'm long on everything on this page, basically. And I'm also going to be long on everything on this page, essentially, at some point. So all the stocks and stock names, Bitcoin, and all the metals. That's my play. And then we've got a few other things that we've talked about, like the shorts on the euro yen and the pound yen, the long on the Aussie dollar. We've got some plays on energies. We're long on natural gas. We're short on WTI oil. We're long on uranium. We've not taken a new position on URA just yet, but we've been long all the way from 22. We got out some at 33, 25%. We got out some at 35, 25%. And we took the rest off, 50%, at 39 and some change. I'm waiting for this to pull back into one of these yellow zones, probably, most preferably, the bottom one down here, big resistance level, close of that gap in the middle there, 250 and 100 period moving averages, support line, trend line, all that sort of thing. And it's probably also a 50% retracement level. I haven't even drawn the Fibonacci in just yet, but let's do that and see where that ends up. Yeah, and it's somewhere in between 50. The blue zone is the golden pocket. So it's right over that yellow block of ours. So that's definitely where we want to be looking to buy uranium in the form of URA. And that's at around $30, plus minus $1 or $2 each side. And so we're long on natural gas. So we talked about our main plays, right? We're long on all the metals, long on all the crypto, long on all the stocks. We've got to get into some of those stock names still that we're still not in yet. And then we've got a couple of other things. We talked about a couple of the currency plays. We've talked about these energy plays, long on natural gas and short on WTI. We're also long on UEC, but we're waiting to get long on URA. We have not yet got a new long position on URA, but we're still long on UEC. We took a position down here at $4.72. We took another position here at $6.50-ish, and we've got a rising ascending triangle. I'm looking for a breakout. We're testing the bottom right now, and we're testing the 200-period moving average as we speak. If you're looking to buy UEC, this is a great place. Bottom of the triangle. It's a bullish triangle, not any old triangle. It's a bullish ascending triangle. It's also where the 200-period moving average is, and this blue Fibonacci block. So if you do like uranium and you'd like to buy the UEC, uranium name, then you can do so now at $6. Well, it's a little bit higher in pre-market, but not much. It's actually kind of where we are, maybe a little fraction higher, but we closed at $6.53. If you can buy UEC at $6.50, I think you've got a good deal. And then, folks, going across to the US dollar, South African rand. There was a question in chat about this one, and we remain long. There's our last long tranche. at around 1770. This move down indicates rand strength against the US dollar. This chart is the US dollar South African rand, the day chart. And when this chart moves down, it indicates that the rand is strengthening against the US dollar. There's no reason for that to have done such a dramatic increase in strength, about 10% over the last couple of months. And also, I do understand that we've got severe and incredible increases in the price of metals, including the platinum group metals, metals like gold and silver and uranium. All that stuff comes out of the ground here in South Africa, and it boosts the price of the rand against the dollar. But not to that extent. That's ridiculous. And I'm hoping to, well, we've already got a long position. We've got also one from up here at the 200 period moving average. Hoping for this to break up through here, through the 200, get back up to around 20, and then probably another 10% further beyond that, up to 22. I don't have any strength, I don't have any conviction at all, zero, in the strength of the South African rand and or this government in maintaining any sort of strength in the South African rand. So we're going back to 20, and then probably 22, then probably 24, 26, 28, 30, ad infinitum. There's no strength available in any sense for the rand to gain, to draw upon, not in this economy. So unless something dramatically changes, and there's no indication of that. So we're still long on this one. Target 20 and then 22. That could be a really good one. And then we're also long on TLT. I keep on threatening to get out of this trade. We're above break even now. We're in some profit eventually. And every time we get to profit, I should take profit, get out of this, be done with it, because it's just such a boring, tedious, and costly in terms of carry cost trade. Although we're in profit, but not by much. I do think, however, that TLT, these treasuries, are going to break out through here very dramatically and squeeze up. I wouldn't be surprised if we got up to like 106 in very short order, but at least about 100 in chop order. We're trading at 87 right now, so that's like a 13% opportunity there, up to 100, and maybe a 20% opportunity slightly higher, up to 110. We don't have any positions on the VIX. I only buy the VIX when we get much lower. The VIX trades along the bottom of this beige block forever and a day, and occasionally it spikes out through the top. Every time we get to the bottom, I try to buy the VIX, and I get out when we bust up through the top. I try to get out as late as possible and as high as possible, but I generally try and get out around about the mid-20s to mid-30s, somewhere up around about where my cursor is right now, and the tops of these sort of more frequent spikes at around about 30 to 32. So the idea on the VIX, and it doesn't come along all that often, several times a year, 2 or 3 times, we look for a buy opportunity at the bottom, and we get out when it busts up through the top, playing the momentum, get out as late as possible, and get in as late as possible, and we're just trading that range on the VIX. That's all. There's no other, in my opinion, no other way to play the VIX, and it's just not very exciting and not very interesting, and it only offers a couple of opportunities per year. So don't focus and get too obsessed with the VIX. A lot of people love the VIX. I don't know why. It's not the best instrument to trade by any means. Going across to softs and grains, well, sugar's barely holding its support, and I was hoping it would, and it did, but not very convincingly at all. We're down below the channel. We're at this black support line. We held it. We bounced down through it, back up again. We're still above there today. Let's see how today goes. Basically, I want to build this long position. I know that the weather conditions and the futures COT report is not looking particularly supportive, but I don't think it looks particularly negative either. And I think we could get a technical short squeeze out of there. We're also short on cocoa, and I've got no extra news to add to this. We have a position at the red arrow and waiting for this path to continue. I may add some more shorts onto cocoa on a bounce back up to the top of the channel, but otherwise I'm just going to hold the current position. We're now out of coffee. We've taken profit completely and waiting for this to bounce as well. There's all our short positions. We've hedged a couple of times. We eventually took profit right at the bottom of the channel, which is where I said I would. But look how premature we are. We got there a little bit too early, and this angle is too steep, too dramatic, and we need to get something more along the lines of the angle of this red line, which means we've got to bounce up here or go sideways. Given the nature of coffee and this commodity and the nature of commodities in general, it's unlikely just to go sideways. So we'll probably have to bounce up back to the center of the channel, and we could get all the way back up to, I don't know, like 323, and maybe even up slightly higher than that, maybe 340, and then an opportunity to sell back down to the bottom of the channel again, probably another bounce back up to the channel center line, but we're hoping to make lower highs and lower lows as we zigzag down. So that's coffee. Still got a short idea on this, but I think in the short term we might need to bounce back up into the channel and gather some more liquidity further up. So I have no position on that just yet. We have a position on corn and a long position, very small again. Once again, we've been long variously on and off throughout this rally up, and I took another chance to try and buy some more over here, but it hasn't carried on the rally. In fact, we fell down through this sort of range, the bottom of the range. So quite bearish. This is a very, very tiny position, and I'm just waiting to top that up somewhere down here at the green block, and that will give us an average price of somewhere where this black line is here in the middle. So we're aiming for an average price of about $4.30, and I'm going to see if I can buy some closer to $4.10. Orange juice, we don't have any positions on OJ. How's the sound, everyone? Is it coming through okay? Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I hope it's not lagging and going weird. This is orange juice. We have no positions. I'm looking for this to move sideways for another period of about 3 months or so, and then maybe move down out of a bear flag. So nothing on that just yet. If we break down through that low without creating a longer bear flag, then I guess it's moving down and we'll be left behind. And then wheat, we also have a long position on wheat. Wheat was good yesterday, bouncing off that area that I said it probably would try to, that has done that. It's bounced off the trend line, essentially not quite touching it, but we bounced off the 61.8% Fibonacci level. Big strong rally yesterday, just up to the next fib level and resistance at the 50%, and we need to move up through there today. This pullback today is nothing to worry about, just a little pullback, normal. We could expect a pullback down to about 50% of the previous candle from yesterday, so that would take us down to about 540 to 45. Well, we're trading at 44 right now, so down to about 42, 542, 543, something like that. You could get long on wheat, looking for a break up through that channel, it's actually a falling wedge, which is particularly bullish. And my targets are these previous spikes, resistance levels, swings. So you can look at those on your own chart, draw some lines on there if you want to, and identify the targets. I like the wheat trade setup. I like it all. And the fact that we've broken out through the top of that channel already once means that channel is now weakened and ready to be defeated again. This is soybeans, and very much like orange juice, I pointed out to you, orange juice is about halfway along this bear flag, and soybeans have basically completed it. I'm looking to sell. We actually missed the sells at the top here, but I want to sell soybeans at the channel top. We may have a little go at it just now, actually, this week, maybe just diddling in the middle here a little bit, hoping for a move down, but certainly on a break back down below this bear flag bottom, I'll be looking to add some more to this position. But we've got to get short first, and I'm hoping to get short at the top of the range, but if we can't, we may have to consider going short here. We're moving up a little bit today. This is a daily chart, so maybe there's some hope for another retest of that bear flag top, and we can get short on orange juice there. And that's all the softs and grains, folks. I don't think there's anything else to talk about on the softs and grains sphere or front. And just skimming back across Bitcoin, still looking good, pulling back a wee bit. Gold and silver and copper all moving up quite nicely. Stock market's tickling down a wee bit. We'll figure those out. Still plenty of time before the market's open, another 45 minutes. And then the pound and the euro falling down quite dramatically, actually. And as that moves down, particularly the pound yen is absolutely collapsing as we speak. So if we do get back into this channel on the pound yen, we've got a small position there. I'll be looking to add another short on a breakdown. This is a day chart on a breakdown to the 50p moving average, a bounce back up to the channel top from the underside. This is the sort of thing. Always look for these sorts of patterns in your mind, folks. Imagine what's going to happen next. If we break in here, what's going to happen? Well, we probably bounce off the 50 or bounce off this order block. So let's say we bounce off there. What's likely to happen next after that? Well, we probably get a retest of the channel top that we've just broken, back inside. So a retest like that to the underside, that's where we get short on the retest and look for the move down. This is a pound yen. This can go much, much further down. I'm talking several thousand pips. But this is the sort of thing you need to try and envisage when you're trading. And as I said earlier, we need to hustle these markets. It's not a 30 pip stop and a 60 pip target. When the MACD does this and the RSI does that, and you get a this candle or that candle, and the 5 EMA crosses the 13, and you get long. That's not how we trade. And we're looking for setups, we're looking to hustle, we're looking for probabilities. What's this going to do if it breaks back into this channel? Well, we think it's going to have, it's obviously got some momentum, so that could push it down to these support levels, bounce back up to the top of the channel. That's where we get short and we ride it down. So this is the way I want you to think about your trading. Don't get stuck into, you've got to have a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio. No, you don't. You could have a 1-to-2 reward risk ratio, the other way around. That doesn't matter. That's not the point. We're not trying to get perfect risk reward ratios. We're not trying to use double the stop loss for our target. We're not trying to trade when the 5 SMA crosses the 13 EMA and there's a golden death wish cross on the MACD zone block or whatever it might be. That's not the way we trade. That's not how the professionals trade. That's not how banks trade. That's not how institutions and hedge funds trade. None of them. Not one of them do any of those things. Not one of them. So why do you do that? Why do you look for those things? Why do you have a trading system which is inflexible and you tell yourself, I can't get into a trade unless the 5 crosses the 13 at the end, at the close of a 5-minute candle? Why can you not trade a different system? Why do you have to have a system? Why can't you read the tape? Look at the charts. Figure out what's going to happen next. Make it exciting. Make it interactive. Get involved. Decide how you're going to make some money from this market. Don't follow the stickler's rules that 99% of retail traders follow and lose their money. And that's my ramble for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. It's been a quick but interesting session, and I'm sorry about the start. I'll try not to make this thing go weird again, and it's happened twice now, but most of the time it works pretty well. All right, so folks, let me just finish off greeting everyone and finishing off the questions, and then I'll say goodbye, and then we'll get to trading. The market opens in 45 minutes time, so we don't want to be late for that. I always like to have half an hour before the markets get going after these streams and so on, so that I can start looking at things afresh. And now that I've spoken to all of you, and I've looked at these charts with you together, I've also got the opportunity to think about what we've talked about here. Think about some of the questions that you've asked. Think about the responses that are given. Think about the things that are troubling traders, where people are going wrong, and what the market might be saying to us, just generally gleaning stuff from our interaction together. And in that way, I'm able to slightly refashion, reshape, and rethink about what I think the market might do today. It's Wednesday, it's hump day. I think it's a green day across the board, including everything except for oil. Yeah, I think that's it. I think everything's going up today except for oil. So that's the way I'm trading it. But yeah, so I'm going to spend the next half an hour, once we finish off here, looking at the markets afresh and finishing off my thoughts about how we're going to approach today. And then the markets will be open. All right. All right. I'm so sorry about the sound. A lot of comments about the sound here. Great advice. Thank you, Brian. Luca and Emily, I can hear sound and lagging, but the video is choppy. Okay. Quality is lagging. Okay. I'm sorry about all of that, folks. I hope it's been better since I reconfigured a few things here, but I think it's just the software and the servers on these live streams. There are thousands of live streams going out on YouTube every single day now. Thousands and thousands of live streams. And I was one of the OG, you can find my original video on YouTube actually if you have a look. I was one of the OG YouTubers, and I had a video up in 2008, I think it was, maybe it was 2007. But in 2006 and 7 when YouTube started, you could only upload a 10-second video. That was the limit. No more than 10 seconds and very low quality, I think like 720 quality, and that was it. But so tiny. Imagine the size of those original YouTube servers provided by Google. They must have been minute. Now we have city-sized server blocks with Google servers in them. And that's what's happened to YouTube. But the streaming services that host this stuff that we're doing right now, I don't think have caught up, or I don't think they've been aware that they might be under such server demand. And so some of them are just not quite coping. including StreamYard and Streamlabs. All right, NG is rushing up as we speak. Let's have a look, says NK. Let's have a look. Natural gas rushing. Is it rushing? Yeah, it's rushing a little bit. Yeah, so we're going to look to, at the top of this hour, folks, I'm just going to quickly look here. Let's have a look. At the top of this hour is my trading hour. So if you look at this candle, the current candle, it opened at, this is my time, 6 hours. So that's, you can add 6 hours onto that, 6 a.m. New York time. But let's go with the times on my chart. So this candle opened at 12. The rollover is in 4 hours from that time at 16. We're currently at 14.50, so 13. Still 3 hours to go before this candle rolls over. So is that correct? 1600, it's now 1300, so 3 hours and 10 minutes to go before this candle rolls over. So I won't be taking any trade decisions, doing anything until the candle rolls over. But if we close like we are right now, I'm going to add some more longs to my natural gas long position. We've got a position from down there at 330 something, I can't remember the exact number. And we may add another one at around about 345 to the existing long position that we've got it on there already. This would be a bullish engulfing candle, and also breaking up through local resistance formed by the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 candles really, these four candles. So we've broken up through the last 24-hour local resistance, and we've got a bullish engulfing candle, and we're probing up higher. But we've got 3 hours to go before this candle closes, so I'm not going to do anything until those 3 hours are up. It's just one of those disciplines that you've got to apply. A lot of people looking at this right now in this chat saying, wow, that's going up, I'm getting long right now. But in 3 hours' time, you might find that this is, made a new low. You don't know. It's sometimes pretty deceptive. So you've got to be really careful. Don't rush into trades. If you're trading off a 4-hour chart, if your approach to the market is to swing longer term swings, and you're trading off a 4-hour chart, wait for the candle to close. Don't take any trades, before that candle closes, because otherwise you're not trading off 4-hour candles. You'll often find in the last 5 minutes of a 4-hour candle, literally after 3 hours and 55 minutes, the last 5 minutes is often the most important part of the 5-minute candle. Of the 4-hour candle, not the 5-minute candle. So D005E says the problem is with YouTube, and it's not over here on my side. So exiting YouTube and going back in fixed the problem for him, but then it got worse over a period of time. So maybe YouTube's just being overused right now. All right, let's get to some of the questions. I do apologize, and I know it's very frustrating if you attend a live stream and there are people talking away, talking about stuff that you're interested in, and you put up a comment or a question and everyone just completely ignores it and no one addresses what you've just said. It happens to me sometimes, and I can't stand it if I type something up or I send a super chat or I do something or say something or I ask a question and I just get completely ignored. It's very, very annoying. And it makes people leave live streams. So I'm going to try and get to them all, even if it kills me, even if it kills you. Robert, you say your streaming problem might be related to using Wi-Fi on the MacBook. Yeah, I'm using fiber, Robert. So it should be, it's fiber. It's not, my MacBook is not wired to the fiber. You might be right, but the router's in a different room. But normally it works okay. But just today it's been a bit weird. Michael Savage, thanks, Brian. Thanks for your comment. You appreciate me. Thank you very much. Michael, you say I know you like to trade the actual instrument, but Silj is still holding a long position in XRP when Bitcoin goes up. Yeah. Keegan Scott. Good Scott. Great Scott. Is that Keegan? Keegan, what are you doing here, mate? Keegan, I think you're in London, right? But you were in South Africa. Keegan, I think, if it's the same Keegan, is the son of a friend of mine, but he's also my son's best friend. If that's you, Keegan, that's super weird. All right, Music Whisper. Will NatGas hit $3 soon, or will it go up in the short term? I don't know, Music Whisper. I'll tell you what I think. I think it's more likely to be bullish than bearish, and my target is more likely to be $4 than $3. And we seem to be holding support but I'm not ruling out at all a dip down below $3 to $3, and then even a dip below $3 down to 240, 250, even 230, if that big head and shoulders pattern works out. It's got a little bit skew and squonk already, so it's probably not going to work out, but it could. We've got a left-hand shoulder. We've got a right-hand shoulder. It's a messy, scrappy one, but if you draw that shoulder neckline, whatever it is, this line here, with the, I don't know, is that the shoulder line or the neckline? I don't know. The line where your neck meets your shoulders, that's at $3. And if that breaks and is even tested and it breaks, then the target for this head and shoulders is like closer to $2. I mean, it's like $2.20 or $2.30. So is that possible? Yeah, I suppose it is. Charts don't lie. Markets lie. People lie. Economic news lies all the time. People's emotions lie to each other all the time, but the charts don't lie. That's a fact. So if we break $3, this is probably going down to like $2.20. So beware of that and don't hold those long bags if $3 should break. So that's what I think, but I don't know. If we don't hold here, we get down to 320, break down below, get down to $3, fail $3 eventually, then we could see way down into the low twos. But I don't think that's the most likely scenario. GSA, your question is, hi, James, I'm a private group member from India, and GSA suggests all to join James' private group. It's worth more than what it's worth. Thanks, GSA. Although I sound pushy with this, but this man is actually worth more. Thank you so much, GSA. I don't know what your name is in the private group. I'm not going to ask here, but I do appreciate your comments very much. And I'm starting to enjoy myself as an educator, as a coach. Some call me now. It's a privilege of being a little bit older, I think. But also, I'm getting a lot of fulfillment from this. I enjoy helping people learn how to trade. I've been doing this for a very long time, 30 years. And it's a good idea for me to help pass on what I've learned over a very long time. I've spent hundreds of thousands, if not tens, but probably hundreds of thousands of hours trading. And it's a good idea for me to pass on the baton. So I've commissioned a ghostwriter. I'm writing a book, a technical trading book. I'm also going to write a book a little bit about my life as a trader and what it means to be a human in this world that we live in, which is a very difficult proposition for people to face this world that we live in. So I'm going to write a little book I'm going to write a full technical trading book based on my entire trading approach and philosophy. And it's going to be called The Swing Trading Blueprint as per my course. You can still buy the course right now. It's below in the link. You can buy the whole course. It's available right now, but I'm writing a book on it. But I'm also going to include some of my personal story, and I think that'll be incredibly useful for a lot of people. Trading aside, this world and life that we live in and life that we lead is really difficult. And I've shared in my private group a few of the issues that I've been through recently with alcoholism and ill health as a result. I was pretty close to being dead just a few years ago. And so it's a long story. I've worked for a bank. I've had all sorts of drama going on 20 or 30 years ago. I became an alcoholic, addicted to alcohol. It almost killed me. It damaged a lot of things in my life. I've recovered, rebounded. I'm better, stronger, fitter, healthier, more physically stronger physically and mentally, more alert and accurate. And so there is hope for those who've been down those sorts of paths, and I hope to encourage people to write about it and also help them to trade in my private group. And I'm enjoying it. So thank you, GSA. I appreciate that very much. And you're saying basically it's worth joining, and it's pretty cheap, and I'll teach you how to trade. I'll make a trader of you. I promise. That's my job. All right. Okay. Ready. Roby says, at GSA, thank you. We'll be very soon. You're 100% right. He is awesome. Thank you, Roby. I appreciate that, mate. Good day, Rui. Live is okay now. Thank you. I'm glad you made it. Hello from Spain with a Russian acrylic spelt name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but greetings to you from Spain as well. Your ideas on natural gas are much appreciated. Thank you so much. Duncan Glass Watson, good day to you too. H, good day to you. Peter Lee, Luca, Tanil, my private group member. Tanil's a big conversationalist. And Roby, much better. WTI, okay, we've talked about Rui, we talked about WTI in some detail, so I'm not going to do that again. You can rewind the video. Robert, this might still be an issue. Having fiber internet is great, but the Wi-Fi can be an issue. You're quite right. You might consider a CalDigit Thunderbolt dock running an Ethernet cable into the other room. Yeah, Robert, I think you might be right. I think, Robert, the other issue that I have on this MacBook, because I've got 3 MacBook Airs of various generations, the latest, the one before that, and the one before that. So an M2, M3, M4. And I'm using the M4 right now as we're speaking. But they've all only got 256 gigs of RAM. Is it gigs or megs? Gigs. Only got 256, and I think the RAM gets full as well. So all sorts of problems. If you're buying a MacBook, try, I think the 256 is too small. You need to get the next one, 526. But you're going to pay for that. That's a very sneaky ploy by Apple. They give you the basics, but if you want anything, even tiny little bit of improvement to your RAM, I think they charge you another $500 or something. So it's ridiculous. But I can't get away from Apple. Have I seen gas? Yeah, we've talked about gas, Luca. 1 hour and 10 minutes at 16. Yeah, you're right. 1 hour, you're right. Tanil. You're quite right. Why did I read 13? It changes at 16. We're at 15 right now. Quite right. So 1 hour until the natural gas rollover. Let's quickly look at it while we're talking. Let's have a look at the chart. So we've got 1 hour until this 4-hour candle completes on natural gas. We're long from the green arrow down at the bottom here. We're currently trading at $3.44. And this candle finishes in 1 hour's time, 58 minutes from now. And if it finishes where we are currently, at this current level, at about 344, 345 or higher, I will add one more long tranche onto my existing long natural gas tranche. And that one's at 335 or 6 or something like that. Then I'll have another one at 345 or 6, something like that. Average price will be 340 at the bottom of this order block, which is absolutely perfect. First target back to the 200 period moving average. Then this next order block, previous swing high at 375. I will always take some off or hedge at 375 on natural gas, no matter what happens, because the market always reacts to $3.75 on natural gas. This zone up here between the yellow and the order block, the yellow block and the order block. So that's the next profit-taking zone, 375. And maybe if this is going to be a bullish period, and I'm not saying it will be, or that I know it will be, or that I have any clue where natural gas is going next, because I don't. But if this is to be bullish, and it looks like it's trying, we could get to the top of the channel, and that could take a little time. If I draw the arrow in there, we can try and estimate that. And just by following the angles on this chart, there's an easy way to estimate time. Look at the angles on this chart, get a feel for it, and we're bouncing up from here. Follow a similar sort of angle. So we want to get up to 375. Looks about right, something like that. Probably a bit of a pullback from 375. I'm just assuming that this is what we're going to do. I'm not saying we will. And then following the angles up to there, something like that. And that would be a green arrow because it's bullish. And we can then sort of estimate when we might get there and how that times in coordination with a contract roll. Remember, this is the futures that I'm trading here from the NYMEX. So I've got to be aware of the contract roll, and we don't want to be trading in the week of the roll. So let's have a look at where this goes to. Well, that's the 11th of July on Friday, and that's Friday week, not this Friday, next Friday. According to this chart, if this goes well and follows my path, we should be at $4.20 by Friday week. Alternatively, of course, this might be absolutely nonsense, and we might see something completely different. Maybe a move up to the 200 period moving average and the 50 confluence right here, a rejection sharply down through there, down to this sort of level, a bounce off there, something like that, or just a continuation down. So anything can happen from this point. We're diddling right in the middle. We're at $3.50, 60, 40 rather. And the range is $3 to $4, roughly. So we're trading right in the center of the range. That means the probabilities of it moving strongly up to the top or to the bottom, the probabilities or the certainty of those things occurring, those events occurring, a big rally or a big drop, are much, much lower because we're sort of closer to 50-50 rather than, let's say, 70% chance of a rally and 30% of a drop. We've got about 50-50. We're in the middle of the range from that perspective, not technically, but because of the range. Okay, folks, I think that's it. I'm rambling on now. I can tell when I'm rambling because I just start waffling and everyone starts drifting out of the room. So, yeah, so that might be an issue. Having the internet is great. Yeah, so we talked about that. Yeah, so thank you for that, Robert. I might have to get the Ethernet cable, but it might just be the RAM as well. That's the problem. Jazz S, appreciate thanks for your comment, Jazz. Thanks for being here. Appreciate the webinar today, despite the YouTube issues. Yeah, sorry about that, out of my hands as well. Edgar, I'll buy your life book for sure. Thank you, Edgar. It might be boring, but I don't think so. John, I'm a long-time trader looking to join, be part of some bigger minds than mine. John, please come and join us, mate. I'd really love you to be there. Come and join us in the private group. It's pretty cheap, like really cheap, really, for what you get. And we're building a fantastic community there. It's pretty small. You'll be one of the OGs, only about 110, 15 people in our private group. So, and we know each other pretty well, and we're growing as a community. So come and join us, John. And anyone else that's interested, come and join us at the private group. We trade there all day long. I'm in that room probably 20 hours a day. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe 18 hours a day. I answer all questions. Every single trade I take personally with my own money, with real money, and a fair amount of money. Every single trade that I put on myself on my own trading accounts, I put up in the trading room, in the private group. Every adjustment that I make, I put up instantly in the private group. Every trade exit, I put up instantly in the private group. Every trade result, I put up instantly in the private group. So it's completely transparent. There's nothing hidden. You can see every single thing that I'm doing personally. I'm not making recommendations. I'm not sending out trade signals. I'm not telling you that you should do this or do that. I'm telling you what I'm doing. And if you'd like to mimic what I'm doing or learn from what I'm doing, or get a different perspective on the way you trade, compare it to what I'm doing. And not only me, there are another 110 people in the private group, so they also all contribute. And one of the most valuable parts of the private group to me is not only just being part of a supportive community, but some of the very valuable and useful insights that some of the members offer. I don't know everything. Of course I don't. And they don't know everything. And you don't know everything. Of course you don't. But together, we can get a fairly good grapple or grasp on the situation in the markets. And so we bounce those things off each other. Anyway, that's the private group. I'd love to have you there, John. Come and join us, mate. And then Fariba, PC Master Race. Yeah, Edgar. Long-time trader. And then Fariba, I'll be joining in September after summer holidays so that I can give it my full attention and deal with the kids. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Fariba, I'm holding you to that. I want to see you in the private group in September. And John, I want to see you there today. Okay? And then Edgar, there's simply no way your life is boring. Yeah, I think you're right. All right, folks, have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. I'd like to know from you folks as well, if you could leave in the chat, in the comments on the way out, if you prefer live streams or if you prefer my recorded videos. I don't really know. I prefer to do the live streams personally. They're longer, they're more informative, they're more interactive, and they're more community oriented. Whereas the shorter pre-recorded videos, I think they're useful and helpful, but they're maybe not quite as useful. I don't know. I'd like to know from you what you think. I'm really interested, because if it's live streams that people prefer, then I'll just do a live stream every single day. It's much easier for me. I don't have to edit. I don't have to record. I don't have to get the lighting, everything set up, and then load it up onto YouTube, add all the thumbnails. All that stuff takes hours and hours and hours, and I'd rather not do any of that. I'd rather just do the live streams. Yeah, so Edgar's saying it's becoming part of a routine, and that's a good thing as well. So 8 o'clock Eastern, there's a live stream at ArcisFX every day. And I think that's kind of useful as well, because you know that if you might just be bored, Edgar, and you would just want something. So I watch Trader TV live all day long. I have it on in the background. I don't know if I've spoken about it before. Trader TV live. They're day traders on stock markets. I don't even day trade stock markets. It's not what I do, but I have them on in the background because I like to listen to their ideas and views, trades that they're taking, the banter, the chat, the responses, the guest speakers, all that sort of thing. I like to have that on in the background because it keeps me company. It's a learning business trading. And so I think for a lot of folks also in these sorts of live streams, when you know that there's a live stream at 8 o'clock Eastern every morning at ArcisFX, it's like turning on the TV and you can watch for an hour. Sometimes it's relaxing, sometimes there'll be things to do, sometimes you'll learn something, sometimes you won't learn anything at all, and so on. So let me know. Just type it up in the comments on your way out before you go. Do you prefer live streams? I could actually do a poll, I suppose. I can't be bothered. I should do a poll. I'll do a poll on the next occasion. But just leave a comment on your way out and say, yeah, I prefer live streams, or I prefer pre-recorded videos, or put it up in the comments, in the chat, whatever. And I'll have a look at that. I'll be very interested to see the results. Some people are already saying live streams are preferred. NK is saying he prefers it. Edgar, he likes the live streams. Tanil likes the live streams. And unpronounceable critic lettering from somewhere also prefers live streams. And Robert says both are good. Yeah. Okay, folks. Wonderful to see you all. And I'll see you in the live stream tomorrow. I think I'm going to do a live stream every day this week. I've done one every day so far. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's do one on Thursday. And Friday, folks, is a holiday. It's Independence Day in the US, so 4th of July. Great film. If you haven't seen Independence Day 1 and 2, Will Smith movies, fantastic films. Go and watch them. Watch them tomorrow with some popcorn and your family and enjoy that. Not tomorrow, Friday. So that's Independence Day. So we won't be doing a live stream on Friday, and I probably will just be intimately in and out of the private group. But I'll always have my devices on me, even on a US holiday. Some of the other markets will be open. Yeah. So as another good point from Engst, saying live streams are good, but short 10-minute videos are also good because they don't take too much time to watch. And Roby says live, and Fariba says live.